Welcome back to the channel. We are out here at Indy Drift for the 5K Grassroots Shootout. We're about to go and do a track walk real quick. We just did a driver's meeting, so I'll run over there and I'll give you a little bit of a rundown of the layout.
Chase drivers, expect the lead driver to come into your lane as soon as the cones are gone. They're allowed to do so. You have 75% of the lane. You can approach however you want to. You don't have to be up next to the cones. You're aiming for Kyle. That's where the first box is. The cone is 3, 4, 5 feet off and will stay off there. That's where you're looking to put your rear tires through. What we're looking for when you come to an outer zone is coming through the side line with your tires, keeping the tires in the box and exiting through the side line. From where we were to here and getting where Kyle is right now, that's the next outer zone you're aiming for. This is not easy to do. This is difficult to get a correct line to come out of that outer zone, hit this clip correctly, and then enter through what we're going to consider the side of that box. When you leave this outer zone right here, if you stay on the grass line, you're going to have a real tough time getting over there. You're going to want to come out of this and immediately get back into the middle of the concrete so you can make kind of a wide turn into that rear clip. The next thing you're aiming for is over, we're going to reuse that rear clip. Now, I believe it was last year, maybe it was the year before, not sure. We had another clip right where the grass juts out over there. We do not have that anymore. We're going to go from this box to that box. The correct line is reaching out to over where that grass line is, so you can make one sweeping circle and be back over on that rear clip. So for the front clip here, just to go over a few things about hitting it, the chase driver can hit it. The front driver, the lead driver can touch it as long as they don't move it off of where it's sitting. A little brush that moves it, great. If you move the base, that's a deduction. So we would rather have you out here than hit it off its base. In just about all of our competitions, and the last zone is going to be the outer zone, which is going to be running the wall. I believe it starts at the red U motors. You can see the green cone there, the yellow cone, and it goes all the way over to that last one to the other U motors. It's about a 6-foot box. We can walk over that way. That will be the end of the course.
Car's all through tech. I got the banner on the windshield. Out here, ready to run some laps at the 5K Shootout. Should be a fun event. Just gotta focus on having fun, be consistent, and I should do just fine. So we'll go out for some practice laps. I only got about an hour. It's Thursday. Track is hot until 7. Then we'll come back tomorrow, run some more practice. Then tomorrow evening on Friday, they do the first round of the eliminations in the first bracket. It's a double elimination event. So you'll have a winner's bracket and a loser's bracket. So if you lose a battle in the winner's bracket, you move over to the loser's bracket, and then the winner of both brackets face each other for first place. First place is $5,000. So we'll have some fun. All right, so starting out warm up just with a 30 PSI in the rear. That's way too loose for these PHIRs. And it's nice and toasty out there in the burnout box. So I'm gonna drop them down to maybe 25, go out for a lap and see how they feel after that. All right, day one is over. It's a really quick, fast-paced day. There's a lot going on. We had driver meeting right away when I got here at 3, and then I did tech, set up the whole campsite here. After the driver's meeting, we did a track walk, so that took a little bit of time. I only got to run 3 laps of practice today. Practice was from 4 to 7 p.m., which is fine. Kind of just feel out the car a little bit, get some of the jitters out. I was a little nervous today just because I wasn't expecting to be at this event, but the cards lined up and I'm here competing. So that'll end out day one. We'll see you in the morning. Good morning, it's Friday morning here at the 5K Grassroots Shootout. We just got all my tires set up, got fresh tires on there, tires on the car. We're gonna go out for practice in about a half an hour here, warm up the car, get it all ready to rip. We'll see you out on the track pretty soon here. All right, gonna do a couple little warm-up donuts out here. I had one of the SRD guys help me with my tune a little bit. Every time I get off throttle and get back into it, it's like way too much fuel and it's like flooding itself. Turns out my Excel Enrich was like super rich, way too much for what it needed. So we brought that down a little bit, and so far, just taking it down the return strip of the drag strip, it actually felt way better. So we'll test it out on the burnout box real quick and see how it does.
You're going to take a 5-minute timeout. Nobody gets to touch the car until you want that timer to start. So if there's any crew members here or drivers, please bring this back to your crew because this will affect you during competition. If you've decided you're going to take your 5-minute, don't touch the car. We will get you, flatbed or however it needs to get back, we will get you back to your pit. Don't touch the car. As soon as we have a staff member there, we will allow you to get all your tools ready. Ready, set, go, 5 minutes starts. As our rules say, the vehicle must be on the ground and in motion, driving forward to have completed that 5 minutes.
When that light goes out, like Ethan said, we want everybody to leave the line immediately. The biggest thing that we saw was there was some drivers that were waiting until here to be accelerating, and they were almost doing a low kick or a low angle clutch kick and accelerating towards that first outer clip, and that's not what we're wanting to see there. We're wanting from the time that light goes out until you're initiating, we want to see acceleration and commitment to that initiation, and using that zone as a decel zone, not an opportunity for you to catch the chase driver off guard and try to pull a gap. If you're running this outside zone correctly and you commit to this corner or this outer clip and you just dip a tire, it's not going to be a big deduction. If you're way inside here and you completely miss that outer zone and you bury a tire off here, you're going to get deducted here and you're going to get deducted there. We want you on line We want you getting out wide, which is also going to be, to get out wide here, you need to be fast here to get out to that outer zone.
I left a good one here. I just want snacks, like dry ranch. I mean, you might find something in there. Some leftovers.
Trace. 30. What was the type?
Alright, so I only made a couple of practice laps. My first lap out, the brakes felt kind of spongy, so I went back to the pits. My brake fluid was kind of low, like at the minimum line. I don't think it sucked any air in. I was able to get them pumped back up and they're pretty good. Went out for a solo run and they felt fine. The hydro worked fine, so I don't think there's an issue there. But maybe later on I can double check it just to make sure. Also, my oil feed line to the turbo looks like there's maybe a little bit of oil seeping out. Maybe I want to try and snug that up a little bit, just make sure it's not coming off. I don't want oil spraying all over the place on the turbo. That's not good. That is fire waiting to happen. So practice is only for a little bit longer until there's supposedly supposed to be some rain, and then we'll do a full once over in the engine bay just to make sure everything is a-okay. Alright, so kind of a interesting chain of events here. It's been raining for a couple of hours. It hailed really bad, so the track is soaking wet. There's like puddles out there on the track and like a lake. But I'm still gonna go out for a few runs. If you don't know by now, I like driving in the rain a lot. It one, keeps the car cooler. Two, you don't use as much tire, so you can get a ton of laps. So I'm gonna go out for a couple of like quick sight laps and try and just get a few laps. I've only ran 2 laps today in practice, so if I can get, even if they're just some like halfway decent laps, I'm good with it, just to, you know, get more seat time. So I'm gonna do that. right, so real quick update. I did not show this when I had to take this apart. I had a little bit of a brake issue in the rear. My rear caliper was leaking out of the emergency parking brake seal right here. This little arm activates here, and all of it's like the brake fluid runs through all of it. So this pulls and it pushes on the cylinder inside here, and the seal that holds the fluid inside of it kind of blew out and it was spraying all over on the inside in here. So like my CV axle boot is all soaked with brake fluid, the lower control arm, which you can barely see because it's dark out, sorry. So I got a new caliper. Luckily they had one in stock at O'Reilly's. So I'm gonna throw it in real quick. We gotta bleed the whole system because air got in the lines. So we'll start back here in the driver rear and then go over to the passenger rear, bleed the handbrake and the pedal, and then move up to the front to make sure the front is good as well.